All right, Hunter. So, um, wanted to walk you through what it's going to be like when you get your box, because as I mentioned in the last video, I'm not going to have the video card mounted in the system. So when you get your computer, it's going to look like this. I mean, it's kind of zoomed in right now, but there's four screws that hold the tempered glass panel on. So you want to unscrew those, and then just gently get this guy out of the way. And so here's what it's going to look like. It's going to look pretty empty. There's going to be two cables here for connecting to your GPU to give it power, and I'll walk you through that in just a sec. There's going to be two PCI brackets covers missing on the back, because that's exactly where I want you to mount this big boy. So this is the fan-sided view of the GPU. Mounting it is straightforward. So this is the PCI slot that the PCI card going to fit into the PCI slot. One thing I do want to caution about is just, these fans are exposed. They're not made of the most rigid material. That's by design, and that's okay. So as you're holding, you don't want to hold it by the fan. Let's say you want to hold it by the external shroud. So I'm going to slide this in here and into that PCI slot and just give it a nice gentle push. And I had a satisfying sort of click there. Should have showed you, you would have had to take these two screws out. These are the two screws that are going to mount the GPU to the case. And we'll do that in just a minute. As you can see, there's a 8-pin connector here and a 6-pin. So weirdly, this is how power supplies do things. They have a little guy that sticks off the edge there. So we don't need that one for that 6-pin. This guy has the same design, but we're going to use all 8 pins in this case. And it has a little satisfying click when things get mounted. Just be patient, like I'm not. That little guy always gives me trouble. Alright. There we go. Everybody's clicked. If you wanted to take them out, there's a little release on the back side here. You just have to pinch and pull and wiggle. So now that I'm double checking everything's well seated, I can mount these two screws in the back with a Phillips head, which I'm going to not do for you as part of this video, but that's the process for getting your video card in. And definitely you want to mount these. This is a heavy guy with a big back plate, so do not skip this step of installing these screws. And once you got the screws in, you can put the side panel back on and give her a run. I should mention that these power cables that I installed, I don't want these flopping about the case when I ship it, so I'm probably going to button them down with some zip ties to something. I don't know what yet, but when you get it, you're going to have to cut those zip ties so that you can install the power to the GPU.